Hi, this is Daniel from Ultimate Guitar Academy, and I'm going to teach you all about the circle of fifths. So what is the circle of fifths? Well, it's simply just a system that we can use to figure out every major and minor key. It tells us which keys have sharps or flats, and it also tells us what those sharps and flats are. People often ask, why do we use the circle of fifths? Shouldn't I just memorize everything? Well, using the circle of fifths is actually much easier than just trying to memorize each key one after the other. In fact, I've never had a guitar student memorize all of the keys by simply writing them out on a daily basis. All of the students have ended up memorizing the keys by using the circle of fifths. Once you know the circle of fifths, we can use it to write down any major or minor scale, or key for that matter. Once we know the circle of fifths and we have just a little more knowledge, we can actually use it to figure out any major, minor, diminished, or augmented chord. So how does it all work? Well, we begin by drawing a circle. At the top of the circle, we're going to put C. Working clockwise, we're going to add more notes going up a fifth. Working counterclockwise, we're going to add more notes working up a fourth. Let's start with a fifth. Hold up a second. You might be wondering, up a fifth? Up a fourth? What's that about? Well, up a fifth means the fifth note of its scale. Up a fourth means the fourth note of its scale. It does not mean 5 notes away from the starting note or 4 notes away from the starting note. What's the difference? Let me explain. Here's a major scale, the E major scale. If we number each note 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in order that it appears, you can see that we have note 1, which would be E. F sharp is 2, G sharp is 3, A is 4, and B is 5. So in this case, B is up a fifth from the E note because it is the fifth note of the E major scale. Whereas if we were to start at E and count 5 notes away, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E, we're going to find C sharp as the fifth note. This would be incorrect. So the key here is that a fifth means the fifth note of the scale. It does not mean 5 notes away from your starting note. So if we go back to our circle of fifths and we start with C and then go a fifth above, we'll get G. Now here are 2 great tips for guitarists out there who are finding the fifth. You can start on your tonic, in this case C, and then make a power chord. That power chord note is your fifth. If we figure out that note, we'll find out that it's actually a G. Another way is simply to move up 7 frets. So if we start with a C and count forward 7 frets, we get fret 10 on the A string. That is a G note. So that is our fifth. Once we've found our fifth from C, which is G, we then just repeat this. A fifth above G is D. A fifth above D is A. A fifth above A is E. A fifth above E is B. A fifth above B is F sharp. You'll notice that we're about halfway through our circle, so we're going to stop and now go counterclockwise, moving up a fourth. Going up a fourth is a similar process to going up a fifth. We simply go up to the fourth instead of the fifth. A great tip for guitarists is that if you have a note, the fourth is directly underneath. Or it's up 5 frets. So from C, up a fourth will give us F. A fourth above F will be B flat. A fourth above B flat will be E flat. A fourth above E flat will give us A flat. A fourth above A flat will give us D flat. And a fourth above D flat will give us G flat, which just so happens to be the same as F sharp. And now our circle has completed and we've met in the middle. If we draw a line down the center of our circle, everything on the right-hand side uses sharps, and everything on the left-hand side uses flats. Let's start with the right-hand side. So everything on the right-hand side are keys that will have sharps, and everything on the left-hand side are keys that will have flats. Starting at the top center, with C, we have 0 sharps or flats. Moving clockwise, G will have 1 sharp, D will have 2 sharps, A will have 3 sharps, E will have 4 sharps, B will have 5 sharps, and F sharp will have 6 sharps. You should see that we simply counted clockwise 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go back to C and start there. Going counterclockwise, F will have 1 flat, B flat will have 2 flats, E flat will have 3 flats, A flat will have 4 flats, and D flat will have 5 flats. Remember, there was a G flat here earlier, which will have 6 flats. So going counterclockwise from C, we simply counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And these keys will have that many flats in them. So let's figure out a key together. Let's choose the A major scale. If we start counting from C, we have C is 0, G is 1, D is 2, and A is 3. This means A will have 3 sharps. If we have a look at some notated music, we can see that this key has 3 sharps. Therefore, it's the key of A major. That's all good and well, but what are the sharps of the key of A major? Well, this circle of fifths is actually going to tell us that. What we do is we go up to the F note and we're going to put a sharp symbol there. Then when we figure out sharps, we simply start counting the notes and move clockwise. So remember, A had 3 sharps, so we start counting at F. A will have F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. These are our 3 sharps. So A major has F sharp, C sharp, G sharp. If we write out the full scale, we will get A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. Notice here that all of the notes are natural except for the 3 sharps that we found using our circle of fifths. This makes it a great way of memorizing scales because you simply memorize the sharps or flats and the rest of the notes will be natural. Now let's figure out the B major scale. If we start counting from the top at C, we have 0, then G is 1, D is 2, A is 3, E is 4, and B is 5. So B will have 5 sharps. When figuring out what these sharps are, we always go to the sharp symbol which is over at F. And we're simply going to count 5 notes from F. So F is 1, C is 2, G is 3, D is 4, and A is 5. They are our 5 sharps. B major will have F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp. All of the other notes are natural, so our total B major scale becomes B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B. Now let's work on the flats. When figuring out flats, it's really just the same system. The main difference is that when we're finding what those flat notes are, we have to start counting over at the B flat note and work counterclockwise. In the circle of fifths, sharps always work clockwise and flats always work counterclockwise. So let's figure out the A flat major scale. We always start counting at C, which is 0, F is 1, B flat is 2, E flat is 3, and A flat is 4. So the A flat major scale will have 4 flats, not sharps, they'll have flats. Remember with sharps, we started figuring them out over at our sharp symbol. Here, we're going to do the same sort of thing, but we go to our flat symbol and work counterclockwise. Our first flat will be a B flat. Our second will be E flat. Our third will be A flat. And our fourth is D flat. So our A flat major scale will have B flat, E flat, A flat, and D flat. All up, our A flat major scale becomes A flat, B flat, C, D flat, E flat, F, G, A flat. Now let's figure out the G flat major scale. You'll notice that it has 6 flats. Remember, starting at C, we have 0, F is 1, B flat is 2, E flat is 3, A flat is 4, D flat is 5, and G flat is 6. So G flat will have 6 flats. Always go to our flat symbol when figuring out what these are and work counterclockwise from there. Always counterclockwise for flats. So our first flat is B flat, then E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat. And the last one ends up being a B natural. However, we already have a note for B, so we need to write a B natural in a flattened form. This is going to be C flat. Why C flat? Well, if we have a C and we flatten it, we get the B note. However, it will be written as a flattened note. There is a bit of a longer story behind this, but it's not worth getting into that right now. So our G flat major scale will have B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, and C flat. All up, our G flat major scale is G flat, A flat, B flat, C flat, D flat, E flat, F natural, G flat. The only natural note in this scale is F. What we need to remember here is that we divide our circle in half. The right-hand side goes up a fifth in a clockwise direction, and the left-hand side goes up a fourth in a counterclockwise direction. We simply start counting at the top from C, which is 0, and from there we get 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Working counterclockwise, we still get 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. These numbers will tell us how many sharps or flat these major scales have. Remember that the right-hand side has sharps and the left-hand side has flats. When we figure out what these sharps are, we go to our sharp symbol, which is over at F, and we start counting in a clockwise direction. When we figure out the flats, we simply go to our flat symbol, which is over at B flat, and we start counting in a counterclockwise direction. So now that you know how we draw the circle of fifths and how we use it, this is what you will need to do in order to truly learn it. You'll need to draw it from scratch. I know it sounds painful, but it really is the best way to learn how to use it. Once you've drawn it, then use it to write out every major key. You should also use the circle of fifths every time you discuss keys or learn a song. If you're learning a song in the key of G, write out your circle of fifths and figure out the G major scale so that you know what notes will be in your song. Do this on a regular basis. The more frequently you use it, the better you'll learn it. After you've spent some time working with the circle of fifths and you know it fairly well, then you should check out our advanced uses for circle of fifths video. This teaches shortcuts and patterns to make using the circle of fifths even easier, but it can be quite confusing if you go straight into it immediately after watching this video. These shortcuts are great, but starting from the long version develops the best understanding for most students. If you jump ahead and try to go straight to the shortcuts, most students just get a little too overwhelmed and confused.